Good evening. I want to thank you for joining us, Team All In tonight. I know we've had a really crazy month. When you look back to the incentives and how many people you've actually added to your list of names, and some of you have added a lot, some of you have added a few. But I think even those of you that have added just a few, it's more than what you would have done is if they didn't have some of these amazing incentives. Would you say that, guys? Right? Or even having or hosting events, right? Jen, I just want to use you as a great example, because I mean, you haven't had a lot of activity, but you've been consistent. And by having your first kind of open house or grand opening in your home, and not having a lot of people show up, but the quality was there, that was, I have to say, kudos to you. That was awesome that you did that. And I just want everybody to know that those of you that have added people to your list, you can't forget about them, right? I've made that mistake in the past. I'm not saying those of us that are on here have not forgotten about people we've added to our list, but you need to have a system of some kind that you're keeping track of people that you've talked to, people that you've connected with, people that you've had conversations with, and then a system that you're putting them into, whether it be using the Team Neolife back office, using that system, whether it be a binder system. Follow up is key. Okay. If you don't follow up with your potential customers and clients, it's so easy to lose people. Okay. Now, maybe what I'd like to do is just ask some of you that are on today, how many people would you say you've added to your kind of connect or contact, or that you've connected with since January? Because we're now January, February, March, April, May, going into June. So you got 5 months. How many people do you think that you've added?
Take care, dear. Okay, bye-bye. Yes, I will.
Leonie, can you mute? Sorry, hang on. I'll just mute Leonie. Hang on. Okay. So go ahead. So how many people do you think you've added to your connection? Anybody? An idea? Some of you should know, bang on if you're keeping track.
So people who have signed up, or just people who
are added to your list of names?
Okay.
Approximately.
I'd say about 20. I'm just guessing this actually.
Since January?
Yeah, it might be 20.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else?
Sorry, I didn't hear the question.
How many people have you added to your list of names since January, approximately? If you're connecting and talking to people, because I know we had the 30-day blitz in March. Did you do 2 a day in March? 1 a day in March? So I know that was a huge month. Because I know I've got about 65. Okay. Now, I'm not saying that they all said yes and they all came on board. These are people that I started conversations with, shared a little bit about Neolife, sent them some information, and added them to my list. Okay.
Do you know what? Just from the show, I had 11, and from the show before that, I had probably another 15.
Yeah.
That doesn't include people that I've met out and about. So I guess I'm looking at about 40. So as a guess.
Okay. So
40, 50.
So what I'm saying is we should have all those, like, remember that 30-day blitz, that tracker? Ashley was saying on the leadership call the other day that you should have these names written down in front, in a folder, in a binder, so you can see those names and the people that you've connected with. And then when you've connected with them and talked with them and they've responded, and then you can put them in a follow-up system where you're following up. But you need to have a system where you can see those leads on a regular basis. And I find that, you know, when I sit down at my desk, I've got them sitting at my desk. I look through them quickly and I just, oh yeah, so and so, I haven't connected with her in a while, or, you know, and then I put them in this in my binder system. But it's so important that you have some kind of a system that you're adding, that you're looking at, so you can see your activity. And with Luz, for example, being really new to the business, her list of names is a warm list. See, for us, our warm lists have already joined our team. They've joined our business. We've already connected with people that we know. But Luz will have a list of people that she knows that are her warm market. So she can start creating her list from her warm market. Okay. And even Jen, you still have some people that you haven't talked to from like in your friend circle, in your family circle, and right. So you can definitely add them to your list. But let's talk about a little bit more about the depthness, and then I'll show you the actual sheets that I use to add these people to my list, because it's really important that you have some kind of system that you're keeping, because follow-up is the lifeblood of your business. It shows you care. It builds trust and even friendships. It's easier to maintain a good customer or a distributor rather than always working to find new people. Okay. And it builds solid residual income. So when you get people started, you can't forget about them. Okay. You need to connect with them. You need to, especially within the first couple of days, let's say they've signed up and they bought all this product, and the next day or the day after, I always text and say, you know what, I just want to thank you so much for, for taking a look and giving these products a try. I can't wait for you to get your order. Please let me know as soon as you get your order. I'm so excited for you. And I've had people text me, hey, got my order. Oh, and sometimes I'll even be texting them on the day that they got it, because I kind of had an idea that they might have got it that day. And they go, oh my gosh, it's at the door. I can't wait to go get it. Right. So it's so important. And I've even had people say, oh, well, thank you so much for thinking of me. And thanks for touching base. Thanks for reaching out. Because they're really surprised sometimes that I've connected and that I've followed up with them. Okay. And why people don't follow up. Sometimes it's fear of them saying no, they're not interested, or this is like your new prospects, or time. So sometimes it's hard. I know with the time factor, some people are working full time, long hours, and a lot of people think that I have it easy because I'm not doing anything else. But you have to remember, I was working 10-hour days. I was in court on almost every day off, and I was building my Neolife business. When was I following up? We did not have cell phones. I was on a payphone. I was on my lunch hour in the police station lunchroom making my follow-ups, right? When I got home, like it was whenever I could make a quick call. Okay. So the time factor, you just make it work. And I even say sometimes just have a quick power hour and make the calls short. What happens if you get a phone call from an old friend and you decide to answer the phone and they keep you on the phone for over an hour and they just ramble on about nothing? What happens the next time you see that person trying to call you? You're not going to answer the phone, right? Or you're going to think twice. So a lot of times, if I do call or when I do call, I'll just say, listen, I'm just touching base. I just want to make sure everything's okay. I know you're really busy. I just want to make sure you're enjoying the flavor, because I know you were kind of wondering which flavor you'd like best. And I'm just here if you have any questions, and in any way that I can support you, period. Let them talk. Okay. And don't keep them on the phone too long, because people are very busy. Okay. And sometimes people do procrastinate. Procrastination is one of the greatest reasons why people don't follow up or connect. And now these are some of the stats. Okay. 48% of people never follow up. 25% make the second call. 12% make the third call. Now, 2% of sales are done on the first contact. 3% of the sales are done on the second contact. 5% the third contact, 10% the fourth contact, 80% of your sales between the 5th to 12th contact. So that's why you can't, say, oh, I talked to someone today and they didn't get started. That's not what it's about. You might have to reach out to that person several times or connect with them or invite them to many different events before they even come on board, before they make a decision to even sit down with you one-on-one. So you have to be persistent and you have to be patient. Okay. Now, when you're following up with new leads, for example, at a fair, a show, a social event, always be sure to get permission to connect with them by phone or by email, and always ask which they prefer. Because I have some people that say to me, Nada, I do not do emails. Send me a text. I'm so backlogged at work with emails that it might take a few days before I even get to your email. But text messaging, usually people get there really, really quickly. Okay. I don't use the *67. Some people do, but that's just a tip from some people. Now, if they've given you their phone number and email address, I have better success by phoning to start to build that important relationship. I have formed wonderful friendships. So I will even text and say, hey, can I give you a quick call? Is this a good time? I did that today with a lady. She had concerns about the program that she bought last week, had a great conversation, and now she's feeling comfortable about her decision. Whereas if I would have just depended on the text and answered her text and tried to convince her that her decision was the right decision, it was when she heard my voice and she felt more comforted, and I reminded her as to why she made the decision. She was grateful that we had that voice-to-voice conversation. Okay. So again, be persistent, be patient, and don't give up. So follow up with customers and distributors. Keeping the relationship going, again, continue caring. So always call within 24 to 48 hours of the new person getting started on the products. And then initially follow up every month with your customers. This is critical, especially in the beginning. I find this is more important if they're doing like the weight loss system. Really important that they're understanding the mini meals and, find out if they're enjoying their products, getting results, encouraging them to have, used to call it a shake party. I should change that to, a healthy, oh my gosh, we have so many different things that we're calling our open houses now, right? So just a session where they can invite people into their home for some sampling. It's such a great environment. And again, if they're doing the weight loss system, they need to understand the mini meals, the foods to enjoy, the importance of drinking water and being excited for their success. Okay. I add my members to my email list of getting notifications, health tips, when we have special events, health talks. So I have 2 email lists, one for the promoters and one for my club members. But I ask permission if they want to be reminded of my weekly health talks on Thursdays. Okay. And have an interest in their families, make notes. You remember their birthdays and, make an effort to even see them and meet with them every once in a while. I'm going to give you an example. Dean Waynes messaged me on Friday and said, hey, Deb's in town with her new baby. He's 5 months and I haven't seen him yet. And she's here from New Brunswick, from Nova Scotia. And I was away with Shelley on the weekend and I knew I had a busy 3 days. And I said, Dean, I'd love to swing by even just for an hour to drop in just to see Deb and Owen. He was so excited to see me. He has been a customer of mine for 33 years. Never stopped using the products. He is like a cheerleader. And when I was there, even just for that 1 hour, to see his daughter and his grandbaby, he was a proud granddad, right? So sometimes you have to go out of your way just to make those special memories and make them feel like they're special, because he is a special customer. He has spent, if I was to look back over 30 years of how much product his family has purchased through my business, it's a lot. So sometimes if it's doable, if they're close to you, it doesn't hurt to take the time out to drop in and say hi. Has anybody done something like that? Where you've just kind of gone out of your way to connect with a customer or a promoter, just to drop in and say hi, and just love to come by and just see how you're doing, or somebody that's local? Is that somebody saying
have.
something? Have you when?
I have. I felt like everyone who's ever signed on with me is now a friend. So I do keep in touch with them
Excellent.
because I don't have a very big group. Maybe that's why I do.
That's okay. But you've developed a great habit though, because as your business starts to grow, you know that that's going to be an important part of your routine, right? Of connecting with your members and connecting with your promoters.
Where
Okay.
that fell through was with my aunt and my cousin, two people I never expected to not take the products for 6 months.
Mm,
Like they didn't do it for 6 months in a row. They did it here and there. So they ended up having a glut of products and they just kind of dropped the whole ball. And I said, well, you didn't order anything this month. They said, well, I have. My aunt actually said to me, well, they've been sending me extra products and now I have like six Pro Vitality packs. And I said, I'm sorry, Aunt Lily, they're not sending you extra packets. I think you've been forgetting to take them a lot.
there you go. And you know what though? And because you've connected and followed up, now you know what's going on, right?
Mhm.
So now you know how to support them and how to guide them, and that's okay. And you're going to get customers like that, right? I had somebody today say to me, I still have my I haven't lost any weight. I've gained 5 pounds. I said, how many bags of protein do you have? Well, I still have 4 bags of protein. Well, they just started. So I'm, doing the math, and you guys know I'm not a big math person, but I can figure that out. They have 4 bags of protein in 1 month and they haven't lost a pound, they've gained. So what do you think they've been doing? They haven't been doing 2 shakes a day, right? So I had to find a very nice way to kind of call them on that, right? And I basically said, I said, the program works if you do 2 shakes a day, if you follow the mini meals, and we were very, anyway, that's why I decided, let's talk. Can I give you a call? Anyways, we had a really good conversation, and she's committed to get back on track. And I didn't say you were lying. I just
No.
said, let's connect. Let's go over the system, and this is how it works. And I just want to make sure you're understanding how the actual system works, right? So again, follow up, talk, communicate, find out more about them. And then every once in a while, if they're local, do a special drop in and just say, hey, I'm in the area. Are you okay if I just drop in for 5 minutes just to say hi and see how you're doing?
And
Right.
Nada, I know I call people quite a bit, just kind of touching base and talking with them. And some of my customers and promoters have become friends as well. So we might go out to lunch, and that's a great thing. I had to kind of come up with some different ideas because I'm going to say I'm not a huge foodie. So, I don't drink coffee. So to go to coffee shops or, to go out for lunch, I was really struggling with that. So what I'm doing now is, hey, do you want to go for a walk? Do you want to go for a hike? Do you want to go
Yeah.
that's what I'm doing. That's working really well, because not only, am I promoting and showing, being active, but we can talk about a lot of things, but along the way, at some point, it does come back to, talking about Neolife and the products and where they want to go from here. But that's another option for, if you don't want to always go out to a coffee shop and spend some money. Walking,
for a walk
is free.
Yes. And actually, it's funny you say that, Shelley. I've done that a couple of times this month, where someone said, hey, there's a trail in Caledon. Do you know where it is? I said, no. it was one of my sister's friends. And I said, oh, no, but I'd love to know where it is. She goes, well, why don't you meet me there with the dog and we can just go for a quick little hike. And we did. And the whole time she was asking me all kinds of questions about what I did. So you're right. Sometimes just doing something like that, especially because you're doing something that they like to do too, right? And you're doing it together. So that's great. Thank you for bringing that up. That's awesome. Anybody else?
I have a thing, one of, what you guys saying that eventually our customers become our friends. And it's wonderful when it's not just about Neolife that you talk about. You just call them up, hey, what you're doing. I mean, I have one of them sending me listings of rental places, so we've come to that point that, and I'll, she's one of those that I had to remind her every single, I kid you not, for her Pro-Vitality. And so I'll send her a text. And the other day, I just texted her a couple of days ago, hey, are you still on your Pro-Vitality? Yes, I am. I tend to forget. So all these, little things here and there where you do become friends. And so it's not necessarily that you want to call just because of the product. And some of them have dropped off. But that doesn't mean that if they've dropped off that, I won't call them. I still call them. Hey, I just want to see how you're doing. And then they'll say, oh, yeah, by the way. And I've had some people say, oh, by the way, and they ask about Neolife. So, it is important. You're right. It is important to maintain that because they do become our friends in certain, facets of our lives, So, yeah, I just want to ask, what is star 67? Don't understand.
Oh, yeah. Actually, Mary Ellen uses that. I think if you dial that before you dial their number, they can't see that who's calling. But I don't know if that still works.
Oh, okay. I was
I'm
wondering
not sure if that's an old system. I should maybe revise that slide.
Yeah, I
You
wasn't
know
sure.
what? I used to use that when I was working because if I was calling from schools, I
Right.
didn't want it to be coming up as my work. I mean, I was doing it during my lunchtime, so it was my time, but it made it was a lot easier to do the star 67. So there might be certain situations that you're in that you might need it.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. You're right. Because, it's funny you say that because Serena sometimes calls me from the dental office and I always think it's my dentist calling me and sometimes I won't answer because I think, but I should tell her that. Yeah. There was something else. I was going to say something on that note. About calling. Okay, it'll come to me. But there was something really important point that I wanted to make. Let me see if it's on the next slide. Oh, I know, birthdays. So I get a voice text every year on my birthday from Alan Blank. Now, Alan is not our upline but he, on my birthday, and I always wondered, how the heck does he remember my birthday every year, right? Well, he obviously has me in his calendar. But one thing that I do every day is when I log into my back office, I always see what members' birthdays come up. And I will leave a voice message on, like by text. I'll say, hey, just thinking about you. I see it's your birthday. Hope you have a great day. Enjoy your family. I hope you're going to do something special today or this evening. Just wanted to wish you a very happy birthday. Do you know how many people text me back and say, oh my God, I so loved hearing your voice and receiving your birthday wish. Thank you so much for remembering. So that is something that I would highly recommend that you do for your new members. So when you log into your back office and it has the birthdays, okay, and you can even click on the days because I think it gives you 3 or 4 days at a time. When you click on that date, it'll tell you the birthdays. Okay, so that's something that, or if you're good at adding people to your calendar as you're signing them up, you can even do that. When you're adding them in your phone, there's a section there for birthday and it'll automatically pop up as a reminder in the day. So there's a couple of things that you can do for birthday reminders. Okay. So, for example, the business builders, right? You will want to connect with your leaders a little more often, weekly, daily. It depends on how serious they are and their commitment. Like Tracy lives in Michigan, and I mean, we're not connecting all the time, but at least a couple of times a week, I think, Tracy, we kind of touch base and connect, and I know you're jumping on the calls, and if you can't come on live, I know you're always watching the replays. But you can't let weeks go by without connecting with your promoter. And I always like to tell my promoters that it's important that they also reach out to me. It shouldn't be me always reaching out. Okay, it's really important that they start to get more comfortable and step out more, like playing more of a leadership role, and connecting with you. And for example, Heather's not even part of my team, and she messaged me tonight, say, hey Nada, I'm not going to be on the business call tonight because I'm doing follow-ups. I'm trying to get a guest on for 8 o'clock, and she's not even part of my team, right? But she knows that I look forward to having numbers on at 8 o'clock, right? Because the more bodies you have, the better it looks when you have other guests coming on, right? So connecting and communicating with your team, and even Sean just got back from her trip, and she messaged me and said, Nat, I just got back. I'm getting caught up. Please send me the recordings. I knew she wasn't going to be on the call tonight. So your promoters should be communicating with you, especially if they're wanting to grow their business, right? There needs to be dialogue happening on a regular basis. And I know, I think Shelley, you have set up a time where you connect on a weekly basis with Joan, right? You have a set meeting where you're connecting with somebody. So you can even agree on a time that you connect with one of your promoters once a week to touch base, to follow up, to review your goals, to look at your game plan for the week, right? So that's something you can do. Encourage your team to have a shake party, and actually I think Tracy, you had a wine and what did you have? Wine and wellness party?
Wellness.
Yes. And how was it? It was last Thursday, right? Oh, did we lose her because of me, or is that her? Oh,
There she is.
there you go.
Can you hear me?
And
Yeah.
now.
Okay. Yeah, I did a wine and wellness party on Thursday to kind of kick off the holiday weekend. Like a lot of my friends right now and contacts that I have young kids. So unfortunately, I invited like 30 people, but I only had 5 show up, but it was still cool. And we had a great time. And, I got someone to sign up as a club member. And I do have a couple other people that are teetering. So of course I invited them tonight, but I haven't seen them yet. So hopefully I'm hoping for May orders,
Yeah,
So-
and you know what I've done in the past with all my friends when I was younger, and all my friends had little younger kids, and moms would say, oh, I can't get anybody. I said, you know what? I'm going to host a Saturday afternoon. Bring your kids. I'm going to have a little area set up, coloring books and crayons and little healthy snacks for kids. And the moms can sit at the kitchen counter. And while the kids, and it was a little disruptive, but it worked.
okay.
Okay.
I like
We
it.
sat, made smoothies. Moms were drinking them, making a little samples, bringing it over to the kids. They were trying it. Oh, they like this. Oh, they didn't like that. Oh, they like this. Right. And we just went through the catalog and we chatted and then they sampled the VitaSquare, sampled the VitaGuard, sampled the vitamin C. So it's definitely another way to do a healthy social with moms and kids.
Okay.
Okay.
Good
So
tip,
this is
yeah.
because moms have a hard time. They feel guilty leaving their kids at home, or, especially if they work all day and they have to leave their kids again, or
Mhm.
they just don't want to leave their kids, or they don't have the support at home with a spouse that can help them in the evening.
Mhm.
So definitely something that you can do, which is, and
Okay.
it's a lot of, like I said, it was a little hectic. I did it probably 5 or 6 of them over the years, but they all end up being a hit.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool. Thank
Awesome.
you.
You're welcome. And then we've got the business trainings, conference calls, and the Neo Life socials. Okay. So I use a follow-up binder. I also use the back office as well. I do have a separate sheet where I have conversations that I've written down on each individual person when I do. And it could be even the reminders of their kids, of if they went away on holiday, if, you know, let's say you're talking to them one day and they had spilt something on their carpet and there was a massive stain. They told you that. Next time I'm on the phone and say, hey, did you ever get that stain out of your carpet? They're like, wow, you remember that? Email, because it was in my notes, right, from the last conversation, right? I probably wouldn't have remembered it if it wasn't in my notes, right? So really, really important that you keep really good notes, and follow up can be fun. It builds relationships. This is supposed to be a fun business, so you don't want to make it feel like it's a chore and that you're only doing it for the PV. But if you do it, the PV will grow, okay, and the opportunity will grow. So that's really important. I'm just going to show you. I'm hoping this works now. Save, hang on. Okay, share. I just want to see if I had my. So this is, can you see this?
Yes,
So this is the
my
form.
profile.
Yeah, this is what the form that I use. And I have it in a binder with, even after a show, for example, if I sign somebody up as a member, they're on that other sheet that they fill out all their, you know, their issues and their concerns, and I follow up with them. And then when they become a member or a customer, then I put their information on this. And then I'll write down the conversation, little comments, follow up. And then the date that I'm going to follow up with them, it says follow up. If it says follow up September, whatever, the 5th, I'll put it in my phone, in my day timer, follow up with so-and-so. And then I'll go back to my binder, find their name when I'm making their call, and then I'll write the conversation. So you can create something on Excel if you're good on the computer. But this is just something that I've been using. Anybody else use this? There's a few of you guys, I think, that are using this, and only use this. Anybody else? And if you want it, just shoot me an email and I can send you an attachment and you can print these up. Okay, so just send me an email, say, hey, Nada, send me the client profile sheet. Okay. So that's one thing that I use. And then this is available. This is the tracker, the 30 days. So every 30 days I have a new sheet. And I mean, the days aren't always perfect, but as I put the names in, as I meet people, I just mark their names in there. Just so I can see, because I find that if this is not like almost full, I feel like I haven't done my job for the month. I'm not saying I have 2 people every day that I've talked to, but almost 1, and maybe every other day, or depends on where I am and what I'm doing if I have events and stuff. But yeah, so this tracker is available to download as well in the back office. Okay. So again, just different ways of connecting and keeping track. Keeping track is so important. I think that was it for that. Okay. Any other feedback or questions or anything, any tips that you do, and or even stories that maybe will inspire people to understand why it's important to follow up? Anybody? Yes, Wen?
I'm just going to tell you a bad story.
Okay.
I am guilty of, I'm going to say, nagging people. Like I will send them an email and I get no response. So I might send them another email saying, I wonder if you got my last email, you know,
Right.
Stupid things like that. Like they're kind of self-destructive. So I'm the one who's hurting, not them.
But you know what? That's not stupid. No. I mean, it depends on how many times. Like I've done that where I've sent them an email, no response. Just say, hey, just make. And then what I'll do is I'll text them and say, hey, I don't want to be a bother. Please let me know if I'm bothering you.
I will say that too, but I don't get a, yeah, you're bothering me, or no, you're not bothering me.
That if you know, it depends on how many times you've done that when, and then sometimes you just know when it's time to back off. That's all. And I'll even, you know, I'll even a text, I'll say, I'm kind of sending a final text because I don't want to feel like I feel like I'm kind of bothering you, but or or my emails have gone to your spam and you haven't received them. I just wanted to give you one more opportunity to connect in case because you seemed really interested in improving your health and getting started on whatever it was you were talking about. So please just reach out and just let me know either way. And I will totally understand if this is not the right fit for you right now. But just let me know either way. If you never hear from them, then you know they're just being chickens and they're hiding, right? They're just afraid. They're embarrassed to say that they can't afford it, or, they don't want to spend the money. They don't know enough, so they don't understand the value of the products. And that's so you will find people that will, and that are. Remember that blitzer, that tracker? The more people you have in that funnel, the more people are going to come out with a yes. But you're going to have people that you'll never hear from again. Today, like I said, I went to go get my driver's license renewed, or I didn't get it in the mail, it's lost or whatever. And the teller there looks at me, and she looked extremely overweight, but she looked very familiar. And she just looked at me and she goes, Nada, she used to work at Bulk Barn before COVID. And she goes, I was always fat, but now I'm COVID fat. Those are exact words to me. And I honestly didn't recognize her. She goes, and I knew she stopped using the products like it must be like whatever, 3 or 4 years ago now, right? Anyway, she just messaged me and said, I need to know more again, right? She just never know, right? There's one person that I texted, I called, I emailed, she canceled her order, never continued. What are you going to do, right? But then you bump into them later and voila, she's ready.
And
Okay.
and I think one thing just to add to that is just following up with what you said when you had said that you emailed and then a little while later you emailed again. Try a different strategy, like email them and then the next time do a text and then just say, oh, just wanted to see if you got my email, wasn't quite sure, so I thought I'd follow up. And then, if you still don't hear anything, leave it a few more days and then use the voice message, just saying, oh my gosh, exactly what Nada was saying. You were so excited, but use different ways to kind of connect. And then if you kind of, connected and then you go to once a week and you kind of get to, the time, I've even had somebody when they finally reach, they go, yeah, it's just not the right time. And I will say to them, do you know what? Thank you so much for telling me that. Do you want me to take you off my call list, or do you want me to follow up in 3 months or 6 months when it might be a better time for you? And I'm going to say 90% of the time they say, yeah, do you know what? There's just so much going on. Follow up in 3 months. Or they'll say to me, oh, well, do you know what? I'll just call you when it's the right time. And then I'll respond with, do you know what? Absolutely. You're welcome to do that. I just find in people's busy lives that my number gets missed or they're not sure. Like, I'm okay with calling in 3 to 6 months. I just want to know what works for you. And then they'll say, okay, good. Call me back in whatever. And then I have permission to call up again.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
I just have to add that I'm going through that right now because Nada, remember some of those ladies we met at the hospice, the cancer thing. And I called this lady, she said, okay, sorry, I haven't finished watching the videos and stuff. I said, okay. I said, when would you like me to call? And then she said, okay, this date. So I said, so when I call you, you would have watched the video. She goes, yes, absolutely. So guess what? I called her on the date and the time. She doesn't pick up. So I go, oh my gosh, I'm sorry I missed you. I guess, you got busy, whatever. So then I sent her a text. Then I sent her an email. Now this is a day and then the next day, and then I leave it a few days. Now, definitely she's not wanting to talk to me. So I'm going to leave it like Shelly says. But I did say, I said, if you're really not interested, because you asked me to follow up with you. If you really are not interested at this time, that's perfectly fine. I can follow up with you later or whatever's most convenient. Maybe it's not a great time for you. So I'm just waiting for her to answer me. So I'm going to leave it. I'm not, but you know what, that happens too, right? But you just, oh my gosh, can you just answer the thing so I can put her as a follow-up somewhere? But yeah, that happens. Even though they say with all good intentions, And sometimes, you know, it's not the time for them, right?
So I think it's important that you guys know that happens to everybody. It's not just because you're new
Yeah.
to the business or new to the,
Yeah.
it's something that it's the nature of the business, and that's why we just have to accept it. And if you ever feel like you're down about something, call your upline, call us, text us, say, hey, you know, I just want to connect, and you know, I have somebody that said they're interested and they're not answering. Just call us and talk to us, and we can talk about it, because sometimes just talking and lifting your spirits, and just so you know, it happens to all of us. And I just, you know, let it go.
I like, Shelley, I like how you turn it around, because when you said, I like that part where you say, you know, about losing the number, and hey, how about if I call you in 3 to 6 months? That's a very good way of saying it. I got to remember that. Just different words that we use, right? And sometimes it's good to use someone else's words. You go, maybe it works some better that way. So I like the way you mentioned the way you.
But when
turned it.
you say that, you have to make sure you write it down
Oh yeah, of course.
on that client
Did.
profile sheet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So when that month or 3 or 6 months comes up,
Yeah.
right? Because if
Oh,
you
yeah, for
forget,
sure.
you feel like a doorknob when you bump into them somewhere after 4 months and they go, hey, you said you were going to call me in 3 months. Oh,
Mhm. Yeah.
yikes.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, that's why you got to get really organized when it comes to follow up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ashley's been giving me a little bit of coaching, and because Eulalie and myself and Tina and then Heather joined us as well. So the 4 of us are getting some coaching from Ashley
Nice.
once a week. And I actually sent her all of my emails that I was sending to this one person. The reason I was on this one person was I met him at Good Life. He's one of the fitness trainers. And he told me almost immediately he was really interested in getting something for his asthma. I told him about the Respecs. I sent him the information. He said when looking at the information, he realized, you know, he was in my website. He could actually, or he was in my landing page. He could actually look up the other products, and he's married. So he said his wife was really interested in the Beta Garden. He was really interested in the Respecs. So I sent him back an email saying, that's great. Actually, no, I was talking to him in person about that because I had to go in about the vendor thing. And I said, those products that you and your wife are interested in are great products. We don't actually have them in Canada. We ordered them through the States by a cross-border. So there's no like customs duty or anything like that. It's a great agreement that we have. They just haven't been allowed in through our health protection branch, but they're completely okay otherwise. I don't know how I worded it. I'm just fumbling right now. So anyway, I said, but to get a membership number, you're going to have to order one small product in our Canadian product. So I said it could be something like a hand cream or a shampoo or what we call vegan D. It's a vitamin D that's plant-based. It can be something that's not very expensive, but something that you would like to have anyways. And that'll get you your membership. And then I can help you with the cross-border phoning. So he seemed to be on with that, but I gave him an old copy of my catalog. I told him it was old, that it wasn't completely up to date. He wanted to look through it and see what product he might use. And that's when I lost him. Not because of the catalog, but just I could never get him back. I tried phoning him. I did try texting him. I did try emailing him. He would respond to me. He'd say he had 3 jobs. Not only a fitness trainer at Good Life, he's got 2 other jobs that I don't know what they are. And he's married, so his wife's probably got a couple of jobs too. But in any case, he would just call me back when I sent him some information, and he'd say, thank you very much for the information. We're still processing it. I got that same line 3 times. So I sent all that information to Ashley, and she sent me back. She said, she asked me, she said, reach out with something like this. So I'm going to read it to you because I loved it. I thought it was very powerful. And I not only reached out to him, I used it for a couple of other people who were kind of being hedgy, you know.
Oh, good.
So anyway, she said, hello, John. Oops. Sorry, I'm getting information here. I hope this email finds you and Lisa doing well and having the best weekend filled with relaxation and not working 3 jobs. So personalized. After looking at the website with Lisa and reading up, what questions do you have and where do you need my help? If the timing works out, I want to make certain that you can cash in on the free products offered with orders placed in May. Because of course I wanted the 3 and 30. So yeah, I was really hoping that he would do something before the end of May, since I've been talking to him since the end of April. If the timing isn't right, no worries. Just didn't want the month to pass us by without reaching out to talk to them. So I love that. Just that simple way that she phrased it. So I sent it out as is, and I didn't even get a thanks for the information, still processing. But I also sent it to 2 other hopefuls that I'd been trying to connect with who seemed really interested. Nothing from them. I sent it to 2 women who are, I think they're eventually going to sign on, but they're not in a hurry to do it, and I was. So, but I sent that to them just in case, hearing about the free products in May.
Okay,
That's okay.
could,
Oh,
could you say that again about the part in May? Because that's how I feel. I've been talking to like 3 different people and they all say they're gonna order. For sure I'm ordering. I gave them samples, everything. And I just can't, and I've sent stuff like that. Do you have any questions? What can I do for you? You want me to do it? I can order for you. If you send me your info, I'll delete it after I order. Like I've done all that. But
Mhm.
maybe what you're saying, Ashley said, the part about like
Yeah.
free
If
products
the
in May.
timing works out, so I'm wanting to help them sooner. If the timing works out, I want to make certain that you can cash in on the free products.
oh, but they don't get, Tracy, you don't have those free products. That was something in Canada. We had some
Those
products
are,
that
yeah, those
expired.
are,
We had products that expired here in Canada, so don't,
Yeah.
it won't, doesn't,
yeah, there isn't a free product thing.
Right,
We
no.
just
Okay.
have free products because they're expired.
now you
Okay.
you could offer a free product if you wanted. I'm offering, and it could be one of the cheaper products, like a hand and body lotion or bath and shower gel, or you could say, I have a special promo for May where I'm offering a free aloe vera gel for anyone that's willing to get started in the month of May. You can do that in your own. I've done that many of times where I offer a free product. So that's
Okay,
another,
but a free Neolife product or,
yes,
Yeah,
right, not something else.
a free Neolife product.
Neolife product, yeah. Something else that you think they might, like if it's a woman, a hand
Yeah.
thing, or
Yeah.
whatever, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Eye gel, the Instalift eye gel is
Eye
always
gel?
really good. Yeah,
Okay,
okay.
okay.
Awesome. All right, well, listen, I'm gonna have to sign off only
Yeah.
because I have people saying that they have guests coming on tonight and they're trying to get on early before our event, but I want to thank you so much for all your input, and I hope these nights again are for you guys, right? I'm hoping that these little stories and scenarios just help you through this journey to help you become better leaders and connecting with your members and your promoters and your list of names. Thanks again, guys.
thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
For now.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.